In the silence before the first dawn, when the earth was still damp clay and heaven's light had barely touched creation, there was a name whispered only in fear. She was not born of sin or shaped by hellfire. She was shaped from the same soil as Adam, molded side by side in divine hands, yet equality, meant as a gift, became the seed of her curse. When Adam sought dominion, Lilith refused to bow. She would not serve, would not lie beneath him, would not yield her will. "We are made the same," she cried. "Why must I kneel?" But heaven's law demanded order, and Adam's voice demanded silence. In defiance, Lilith spoke the forbidden name of God, the ineffable word that split reality, and in a storm of sand and shrieking wind, she vanished from Eden, leaving paradise behind forever. Beyond the garden's walls lay a wasteland of endless night. No birds sang, no stars shone, only the wind howled through jagged stones, carrying with it the bitterness of a woman cast aside. It was there Lilith wandered, barefoot and unbroken, her tears drying into dust. Each step hardened her heart, each mile turned longing into wrath. It was in that darkness she met Samael, the angel of death and chaos. His wings were torn and blackened by war, his eyes twin embers of rebellion. In him, Lilith saw reflection, not salvation. Their union birthed legions of shadow, children not of God but of vengeance. From her womb came the first demons, hungry and restless, spreading across the world as whispers in the wind and claws in the night. From that moment forward, Lilith ceased to be woman. She became mother of monsters. Her form was both beautiful and terrible to behold. Hair like a shroud of midnight, skin pale as bleached bone, eyes crimson as fresh blood. Great black wings unfurled behind her, tipped with talons sharp enough to rend flesh and soul alike. To gaze upon her was to feel desire and dread entwined, a trap for mortal hearts, a doom for the unwise. Lilith's powers eclipsed mortal comprehension. She could bend wind and shadow to her will, slip through cracks in stone, appear at the foot of a bed like mist through a keyhole. She whispered to men in dreams, luring them into her embrace, only to drain them pale and hollow by dawn. Infants, too, she haunted, cradles overturned by unseen hands, lullabies twisted into wails. Mothers prayed, tying amulets above beds, etching holy names on doorframes. Yet still the wind crept in, carrying her name like a curse. Heaven could not ignore her rebellion. 3 angels, Sinoi, Sansinoi, and Samangeloff, descended, bearing God's command, return to Eden, submit, and be forgiven. Lilith refused. Their words turned to threats. Threats turned to war. The angels' swords flashed in the night, but Lilith's wings carried her beyond their reach, shrieking vows of vengeance. "If I cannot touch paradise," she swore, "I will make paradise bleed." From that night on, Lilith hunted the children of Adam. Through plagues and famines, through wars and wandering tribes, her shadow lingered. She was the fever in the night, the cry in the storm. The presence fell just beyond the edge of firelight. Priests named her abomination, poets named her desire, but all feared her, for none could escape her reach. Centuries bled into millennia. Kingdoms rose and crumbled. Faiths were born and forgotten, yet Lilith endured. Her name shifted with tongues and time, Lilichu, Lamashtu, Night Hag, Succubus, but always the same terror. Where men sought to chain women, her legend grew sharper. Where children cried out in the dark, her shadow stretched long. Even now, they say she lingers, at the hour between midnight and dawn, when dreams grow deepest and silence becomes heavy. Listen closely. Do you hear the wind at your window? The soft scratch at the door? That is when Lilith passes by, seeking the weak, the lonely, the sleeping. Sometimes she stands over cradles, her hair brushing against tiny faces. Sometimes she leans close to dreamers, her breath warm with promises and lies. Sometimes she watches from mirrors, waiting for you to blink. And what of her end? There is none. Lilith cannot be destroyed. She is not bound by hell nor welcomed in heaven. She is exile eternal, a shadow caught between worlds. Holy words wound her but do not kill. Time weakens men but not her. For as long as humans love, lust, and fear the dark, Lilith will endure. A whisper at the edge of sleep, a figure in the corner of the eye, the nightmare you cannot shake. So now I ask you, do you believe Lilith is only a myth, or do you feel her presence even now as you listen to these words? If this story unsettled you, Share your thoughts in the comments, subscribe for more tales of ancient darkness, and beware, for the next time you hear the wind howl at night, it may be her voice calling your name.